Welcome back. I'm Kim and Fulyana. This is Inside Exec. Today's topic is probably a little bit of a follow-on from one we did previously, where we talked about managing enthusiasm for a project right at its start when you're allocating roles. Today we're going to talk about seeking collaboration or seeking to fill roles on a project from outside your own work area, whether it's within your organisation or outside your organisation. And you're doing this because you believe that the skills that are required in that role are not available or are not developed enough within your own resourcing that you can get locally. So if we look at how you made that decision, first of all, about how the skills or the resources are not available to you internally, shall we say, and when I say internally, I mean within your project team or within the immediate resources that you can get for your project. You've determined that this is a role that requires certain skills, and let's say, for ease of example, that it's a financial role, so it's about managing finances for the project, and you feel that the level of skill that's required is not available from your internal resourcing, so you want to go outside to get those skills. There are already people who you could have used within your internal resources. There are people you could have used and developed along the way, but you feel that none of those answers are suitable for this particular project, so you want to go outside. So where do you start first of all?
It depends on what it is, and are you looking for volunteering the task or is it a paid task? So obviously if you're looking, you can put out the tenders and generate interest that way. That can be paid or unpaid. The tender process can be one way of doing it. Another way is to actually approach the different organizations that you could think will work well and complement and that. And basically identify what's in it for them, not for you. You know what you need, but then identify in it why is it a good thing to be seen as a happy marriage between the two. What's the future is. In another podcast, you use the Olympics as one thing. So you're saying, well, by being part of it, you're going to get the exposure for your staff and everything. Your name is going to be on the banners or whatever it is. And you get recognition. Your organization will get a recognition and an association. And talk about what's in it for them now, what's in it for them if they do that and in the future. Maybe even what's the opportunity lost if they don't do it. And then also talk about how well the two of you can benefit together and how you could be of use to them in other situations. Approach more than one and in a way just say, be honest, we're approaching a number of organizations and we thought you'll be one of the ones. So let them know it's not them or nothing. And that will show them that there is somebody else might be interested and why they're interested. And so they don't miss anything for themselves. So you create the interest, that's all, and let them think a bit deeper. The same as with, say, that's outside the organization and a bit more formal. Within the organization, maybe Division A might not really care about what you're doing and they've got their own work and they, drowning. And so here you're approaching them on the basis that, yes, we all snowed under. This is a good one for the organization, and anyone that comes here will get experience, will get across functions experience, and we will do the same for you when you're in a position where you've got an extra project you have to do. But also the organization reward system doesn't have to be always monetary, but recognition, whether it is in a form of a bonus or public recognition or a certificate, says in addition to achieving all their deliverables, they took on a project outside their area. They did that. And then you look at the individual and you say for your individuals, you're helping them grow their skills and being able to put that on their CV by worked in an area which is normally doesn't do that, but they did this and they learned how to manage a meeting, which normally they wouldn't, manage a team, which they don't normally wouldn't, because they worked in teams and groups or committees or subcommittees, any of those things, as well as show them again what's in it for that division what's in it for the manager, what's in it for the individual who might allocate the time.
I want to emphasise that in all of these situations we have, as a leader, we have spoken to, particularly to the person who might think that they should be doing that role internally within your team, and you've decided that they're not skilled enough, they're too busy, whatever else it is, that you talk to them about the decision that's been made that says that they're not going to be doing this role, that they may have thought that they were ready for. They may have thought that they would be given the opportunity to develop into that role, that you have explored the other options within the team about any suggestions that they might have. And it might be that someone within this management team has said, so-and-so in this division would be really good in this role. And so you've done the investigation, you've run with that, and you've said, yeah, that would be right. And in that instance, I would be hoping that you would suggest to the person within your team that you've decided is not yet ready, that you offer them the opportunity to benefit from that situation, so that you're bringing in this person to do this role, but we want you to work with them closely, because the synergy between you is going to be better than either one of you doing it individually. So promote it as the opportunity, as Fulyana said, but tell the person why you see it as an opportunity. So give them the chance to feel that they have some expectations that need to be met beyond their immediate personal reaction of disappointment, that it's not going to be their role on their own, but that there's something greater that's going to happen because of it. You could also look at swapping out. So you say that this person's going to come in from this other area to work with you on this project, so that you can have the opportunity to develop skills that they've already got. And then when their team has a project, you'll be going there to help in that team, so that they can see the skills you've got that they might be able to utilise there. So it's a win-win for both teams and for both individuals as well. It's opportunity is what it is. And it's opportunity for you to bring in some skills, some knowledge, some expertise that you can't identify within your own team at the present time. And what that does is that if someone has got those skills, they'll say, well, I knew that. I could do that. That's what I've been saying all along. And I have an example of that. There's a person I know who's working in an auction house at the moment, and she has very highly developed photographic and video skills. But she's there as a clerk. She just wanted a part-time job. She had been teaching previous to that and teaching video and photography. Didn't want to do that, wanted to have a break from that. But all of that knowledge and skills were there. And so she's involved in just typing and describing items that are up for auction, but she sees the photographs being taken and she sees them doing that video work, and here and there she would suggest things, and because she was, in inverted commas, just a clerk, and she was much older than all of these people who were doing this photographic work, they didn't perceive her as anyone of knowledge, and she's the sort of person who would put up a hand and say, I know about this because I've taught this for the last 20 years. And in passing, she mentioned something about a software package that they could use that would be better for them. And the person that she said it to looked down the nose at her and said, what would you know about that? Her opportunity to say, because I've taught it for the last 20 years. Yeah. And then not long after that, they introduced a lighting system, and I was actually there when I heard one of the staff say to her, oh, we've got all those lights. It's exactly what you said, what you've been saying all along, how much difference it makes to the photos. So her expertise was gradually being recognised to volunteer it, because she didn't want to appear to be overstepping her mark. So bringing in someone from outside may well give someone within the team the opportunity to align themselves with that information and drip feed their expertise out, so that you get a better understanding of what the resources are that you've got in your team. So always, I think, see it as an opportunity. It's not a negative thing that you can't fill every role from within the resourcing that you've got immediately. Sometimes it is a real opportunity to introduce a different catalyst into the team so that you can see what is already there that you didn't know about.
The message too there's few messages, but one of them is don't just look for the obvious skill, because some people will have more skills like in that example where you don't know about, but if you're looking for it, the person might be encouraged to say, well, maybe I can do that.
Right, well, I think we've covered that in sufficient detail for today. I'm Kim Bailey, she's Fulyana Osborne, this is Inside Exec.